All right, we're ready to move on to the next question. How will you a diverse narrative of Christianity of Christian history? Anybody got anything for that one?
Well, basically, Brandon just answered that question a few minutes ago. So we present a more diverse, scripture because we're learning about all the different ethnicities and different people, that it took to make up the scriptures and their lives and so forth. So we're just not presenting a one race bunch of words to people, but it's more of a diverse group here that we're presenting, which let people that we're witnessing to know that, hey, you can be found in the family of God. Might take some digging, if you want to really get down and try to find and trace back different groups and stuff. But I think it'll make people feel better to know that the scriptures encompass a lot more ethnic groups than what has been taught in years past.
Yeah, like Brenda said before, when it comes to the whitewashing of it, removing the color element was more of a system of control for Black people in this country, not just Black people prior to Indians, whoever came over here who was under the guise of using Christianity as oppression to take away their land, keep them enslaved, whatever it was that they did. So presenting a Christianity that shows more people of color, and not trying to say that European white people are not included in that, but they not necessarily mentioned in the book that often if they're there, except for when it comes to Jesus' time, when it was time for the Romans and the Greeks to take over.
Yeah. And if you go back and you do talk about the story of Noah and his sons Ham, Shem, and Japheth, that's where all the nationality, all the races of the world came from. And so everybody can be traced back to that,
Right.
So everybody is included in scripture. So,
and that's a good way to say that, Dad. I'm glad you did. So in the book, when I was reading, and I think it was in the section when he was talking more about like racism, and ageism, and all of that type of stuff. He did pose a couple of questions that I thought were interesting, and I'll pull that up for you real quick. And it's just when you're talking about or presenting yourself to people of Christianity, do you judge people, based off their external appearance when talking to them? Yeah, I just found that question to be quite interesting. Does anybody have anything for that one before I, say what I have to say?
You were kind of breaking up. What was the question again?
I said, do I judge based off external appearance when, talking with people, whether, with Christianity, presenting yourself, to them, presenting the word to them?
I don't think you should ever judge off of external appearances, because that old saying, you don't judge a book by its cover. There are some people who have gone through some rough times, and they may not look like it, but they have a wealth of knowledge and understanding and love and grace, but you may not be able to tell it just by looking at them. And then you got some people who they may have it all, but yet they're miserable on the inside. So you have to get to know people. You have to have a conversation with people in order to find out who they really are. And especially need to learn this, because you got some slick talking joker talking in your ear, then you come to find out later on that it was all talk. He didn't mean what he said. So
I think whether we want to admit it or not, we all make snap judgments as soon as we meet somebody based on their appearance. I mean, in your mind, you judging somebody based on their appearance. If they sloppy looking coming up to you, there's a snap judge. Yeah, we always go back to trying to get to know people and then knowing about them. But do we treat them a certain way based on that snap judgment? We all have done it. We do it if somebody dirty looking up, coming up to us, somebody look good, smelling good, fat, short, whatever, might be ugly to you in your mind. we all making that judgment based on their external appearance. But that's not how you ultimately, judge a person. But that is our initial, at least, unless y'all better than me, but that is my initial thing, going up to different houses all day, people walking down the street, you out doing your job. I'm making a judgment on you coming down the street. Like
Yeah.
I'm making a judgment, you coming up to me, or I have to come in your home. Oh yeah, I'm making a judgment based on how you look. So good, bad, whatever, that's just honesty. Now you obviously, like Pastor said, you get to know people and all that, but I think it would be dishonest for me to say that I don't judge people off their external appearance.
Yeah, I've gotten better, especially working at Amazon with a whole bunch of different people. But of course, like Brandon said, you'll see somebody, and yes, sometimes it's just the first thing that goes off in your head, and you got to correct it. Like, yeah, I feel like we've all done that before. Where I've seen somebody look at them and be like, "Oof, man, I don't feel like talking to you right now. You're probably gonna have attitude." So
Yeah, I agree with that too. In my younger days before working at Disney, I would make snap judgments and hold that against people. But being at a company where you had to be around very much so diverse groups of people, whether it's sexual orientation, different beliefs, color, meeting people from all across the world, like I'm more inclined to engage in a conversation if I think, if you are coming my way, or if I have to go your way, especially now, like Brandon said, when you go into people's homes and things like that. But you still make snap judgments. I need to know if I'm, need to be on guard when I'm coming around you. If you coming around me, I need to know what you about. And I am looking at your appearance. Are you clean cut? How do your clothes look? Are you part of the homeless population that's out here, or you just dressed like that because things going on in your life? I don't know what's going on, but I do my best to not judge the book by its cover and do take a look and see what's going on there.
But too now, especially being, us being Christians and stuff, we have to differentiate between judging and having the unction within you to tell the difference between someone who's not maybe out to do you any good versus someone who may not be ready to do you any harm. What I'm trying to say is that, yeah, we do have to be careful of our surroundings, but I don't think we automatically go to, when we look at a person, at least, I don't, but I don't think I do. Look at a person and say, oh, this joker look like he, ready to rob me or something. Something kind of goes off within me God will kind of let me know. Not all the time, but most of the time. I can, kind of sense when somebody is up to something and when they're not. Not based on what they look, but just the sense I feel, when I'm around certain people. But that's just me. But you all are in different positions, than I've ever been in too. I've had to go in different people's houses and stuff when I was taking them their medicine and stuff like that. But it never concerned me going into anybody else's home. But see, now that we're having this conversation, if I was having that same type of job now, after talking with you guys, I probably would think about it now. But back then, I didn't really think about it.
Yeah, I said the world was different.
But the times were different back then too. Yeah.
Oh.
I try not to, but with certain experience that I've had before grocery shopping by myself with the kids, I am very, I am very cautious when I'm with my kids and being around certain people. And I've always told myself, or when I realized the way that I looked or looked around or looked at the person next to me, I'm like, I hope they don't think I was being biased because of, skin color or anything. That is just me all around now. When I go to the grocery store, I am very why are you getting so close? Or I move my kids right away, or, it just sucks because of how what's going on. You try not to be judgmental the moment you see somebody, but when you hear stories or you experience something personally, you're just like, your first instinct is like, nope, like, let's move this way, let's go that way. And you're just looking back, and it sucks. But you try your best to make sure that you're not being super judgmental around the area. If somebody needs help, you're able to help them, which is something that I still try to do when I see somebody at the store. And if they need help, I tell the kids, go ahead, grab that for them, and still keep that in mind as well.